welcome back. No puns allowed. This is a good one. I'm excited to share.
Your beer?
Yeah, it's like fine wine. It's not in a sifter, but with like an IPA, I want to know. Damn, I just spoiled some of it. I want to know what I'm getting into. Is there a little haze? Is there some citrus? I could see why that might look weird though. Like,
yeah,
it's like one of those things you don't know how weird you are until someone calls you on it, and now I'm feeling a little embarrassed. But I'm going to keep sniffing my beer.
Which I think is something we do often on this podcast, where we just do a lot of weird things and call each other out on it.
Oh, that's good though.
Is it?
It's good.
You're gonna reveal that when we get to picks and pints.
If I remember, yes, I will.
I will remind you. It's my job.
Also, reminder. What do you think? I got my gear.
Your municipal gear.
I am like Lee Corso has the headwear. I'm gonna be rocking different like shirts every week. So my municipal gear arrived. This is a plug, but it's also very real. You know me. Golf shirts are my outfit. That is like the only summer, winter. It just like I'll sleep in a golf shirt. Like it doesn't matter. These are amazingly. What did I say before we started recording? That I should. So this is like a pillow for your arms.
You're like, it's so great. I could sleep. I sleep in it, and I was like,
it is.
And you're like, no. I just meant that I spend all day in it. But I was like, all right, whatever. Float your boat.
I'm also wearing the shorts. I'm not going to be standing up because it would be awkward and just like be weird. But the shorts are like a mix of both like you can wear them golfing, you can wear them to the gym, you can wear them in your house. Like I've actually done this and tested and I'm like, what kind of shorts? And people are like, oh, those are nice. Like you could wear them in anything. So I'm going to continue rocking. I'm very proud. Like, it's just nice to have like nice clothes to wear that I haven't worn like a million times for the pod. So municipal, shout out to you. And also we'll talk about it, but we did our game day upset hashtag promotion last week. Basically, here's the deal. All you have to do is pick an upset with the betting point spread, of course. Tag us, game day upset hashtag, and we did have a winner. We had multiple people that picked Rutgers over Boston College, which was not as bad of a game as Iowa and North Dakota State, or South Dakota State, whatever the hell state, the 38-punt game. But congratulations to them, and we'll be doing it this week as well. So
yeah, and if you are not good at betting like myself, and you can't win our giveaway, you can always use No Punts 20 for 20% off your municipal purchases. So please use No Punts 20 if you stink at gambling, such as myself.
You're not bad. You had a bad week.
I had the worst week I think I've had in a really long time. Like I was down bad. I got to tell you, I was like chasing. I was like, you know what? We need to just sit back and just stop and enjoy the football. Just stop it, Paige. Stop trying to recover.
No, my early season gambling is good because I've been looking at these for 6 months. And then I get to week 2 and I'm like, oh no, keep it on the rails. Like you can do this. Like don't lose it. So stay with it, right? Like we will get through this. You'll pick winners.
To be fair, I'm not going to give up, but it hurt a little bit. It also, I like forget that like we haven't watched these teams play football. Like it's different when like you're watching like a pro team and like they have the majority of guys coming back. There's not a lot of other distracting things going on with NFL. They get paid to be there. Not that college students don't get paid to be there now, but yes. Allegedly they do.
Legally, illegally, whatever the middle area is.
We don't care. But I forgot that like, okay, things change and, players can have down years. Things can happen. A lot can be, environment can be a part of it. All of the things. And yeah, I definitely am glad that I have some football to evaluate teams on now, and go from there. So I think we're gonna be in a good spot for a comeback.
So what we do every year after week 1, and really after every week, but week 1 it's more pronounced because we haven't seen it, is we react and overreact. Mm-hmm. What I'm already tired of, Paige, is that the Pac-12 sucks. Like I'm really tired of hearing that. I'm defending your conference right now.
Yes.
I thought, because of course Oregon got absolutely, oh my God, that was really bad. Like really, really bad. What an amazing undercash. But that game was horrible. Utah losing to Florida in somewhat heartbreaking fashion. Mm-hmm. Not great. But your Arizona Wildcats did some really good things. Won us some money. Like, I don't like when we do the whole, this conference is dead, this sucks. Like, I get the sample size for football season is really small. And we don't know a lot, to your point, but it's also like we want to make these massive declarations after 60 minutes, and which I'm going to do about Iowa here in a few minutes. And it's a little, I don't like that part of it. Like, can't we process and react and commentate intelligently without the Pac-12 sucks? I don't know why that bothered me this weekend, but it did.
I think it's just because it's a lazy take. Like, we're aware that, like, the SEC is well and above the Pac-12. That's not like a hard thing. Did I bet that if I thought that Oregon was going to be competitive? I forgot the Bo Nix factor. That's not fair. I totally forgot that I forgot that, like, there's two sides of the coin here. You can have a great defense or one that just didn't show up, and Bo Nix is going to ruin it. So Bo Nix, and that was terrible. But I think even the Utah thing, like, it just, I don't know. I did not expect it to be that bad of a beatdown with Oregon and Georgia. I think a lot of other people did expect that, so that's fair. But again, I wasn't thinking straight, really, is what I have to say about that. But no, I just mean, like, it, to be fair, like, we know that the SEC is better. Yeah. You know, we're not denying that they're better.
No.
Also, Georgia looks absolutely absurd. I do think it's a little bit of an overreaction to just assume that they're going to be the best in the SEC and in the country. They look great. They're running on all cylinders, but is Oregon that bad that they looked that good? Like, I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm not willing to jump off whatever bandwagon, but I will agree that, like, there needs to be some chill on the reaction. I will say one, I think, very normal reaction is that maybe Stetson Bennett, you know, is good at football, and it wasn't just a fluke that he won a national championship. So I formally apologize to him. I'm not apologizing to Georgia fans, but I will apologize to him personally for expecting less than what we saw. He seems kind of like that dude, and he seems way more comfortable, and I liked it.
Yeah, I think Georgia, we start with Georgia. That was impressive as hell. I don't know what it means because I'm not quite sure how Oregon is with a new head coach, but they looked really fast. They spread the ball around. Bennett played great. He's 18-1 to win the Heisman now. He was like 90-1 during the offseason. Like,
so if you sprinkled, good for you.
Yeah, you're feeling pretty good. And honestly, I just like Georgia. I think I could say this somewhat safely, and I don't mean this like that Georgia is going to be as dominant as Alabama, but Georgia has become Alabama in a sense that they can lose 15 players to the NFL and still do that. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, there's like 2 teams that can do that. 3 teams. Don't. I see you're already ready to. That's why I was trying to label that with disclaimers of like, it's not Nick Saban. You have to do this for like 12 years to truly be Alabama, but like to lose that much talent and still deliver that kind of, it's years of recruiting, it's proper player development, it's incredible roster management. Like, it is, there's like one other team that can do that right now.
Yeah.
And it's Alabama.
But take Alabama out of the equation, and like, we've only had one game. Let's wait till Georgia plays some dudes, you know.
But they're not going to play some dudes for a while. That's the other thing. Their schedule.
It's going to be really overreaction city for a while on that front, which is fine.
It is. But I was looking at that this week. Hold on, I want to pull this up. Not you, Georgia State. We'll talk about you in a few minutes. Georgia plays Samford, RIP, at South Carolina. I don't know, maybe. Kent State, at Missouri, Auburn, Vanderbilt, and then Florida, not home versus Tennessee, at Mississippi State, at Kentucky, at Georgia Tech. That schedule kind of sucks. It just kind of sucks. Like, and maybe that won't. Maybe Florida will be good. That's another overreaction we can have, that they've got an awesome quarterback who is a great deal of fun to watch. But I will say, like, Georgia, I was impressed. That's not an overreaction. I was just not sure you could do that. Like, that was unbelievable what they did.
That I thought was a proper reaction, that Georgia is good. And they did recover and sort of have the Alabama-esque start after losing a bunch of guys. I will say that's fair. But I
want to talk about the opposite of impressive, which is my Iowa football Hawkeyes. I don't know what to say.
I mean, it's kind of impressive.
Well, 7 points.
The way that they scored.
The
7
Ferentz
points.
way, 2 safeties and a field goal. There 10 punts for 479 yards for Iowa. That's impressive.
Yeah,
That's a
I was
good
punter for
punting
Heisman.
day.
That was a Twitter overreaction, and I liked it.
So I think I don't want to bore people with this game because it was a travesty. What really pisses me off as a fan, Paige, is like there's a lot here. You've got dad and son who coaches the offense, who has had 5 years of very mediocre offenses. They did not change. They did not evolve. It's the same quarterbacks. It's the same everything. How you can stay complacent, we do this in life, where you do the same thing over and over again, and you get the same goddamn results. Like, what do you expect is going to happen?
The definition of insanity.
It is the definition. Now, I'm going to do this slide. South Dakota State's actually a pretty good team.
Yeah.
South Dakota State actually is pretty good. Like, I think I've got thoughts on Iowa football for this Saturday, by the way. But this game, like, I can't tell you how many people reached out to me via text or DM or Twitter and was like I had nothing to say other than I'm sorry that you're wasting a beautiful Saturday and watching this football game. It was really painful and kind of beautiful at the same time.
So what you're saying is that out of the two of us on this podcast, I have the better football team.
You might.
Got a top 25 vote? Hey, I mean.
But that's awfully, I gotta say, like that was one of the more impressive, surprising wins of week 1. Arizona, like they were explosive. There was a couple of mistakes along the way, of course. But
Fun,
like,
sweet out. Yeah.
No, but like that was a great win. You got to feel pretty good about your football team.
I do. I feel very happy about the situation. I'm not going to overreact and say that we're the best in the Pac-12 and that maybe the Big Ten should consider us instead of, a trash football team that lost to Georgia or, Washington. Maybe look at Arizona as a real addition. I wouldn't say that to the Big Ten, but if they were listening, I would think it'd be something you'd consider,
Yeah, I have nothing.
You're like, Paige, sometimes you just take something seriously. No.
Yes.
It's the best, but I also appreciate the top 25 vote that we got. So that as long as we just keep pushing, I mean, I don't know. Who knows?
Let's go. Let's keep going rapid fire through the week, and then we'll talk about week 2 and other things. Clemson. That's it. That's all. Clemson. What do we do with this? Like, DJ is lost a lot of weight, which they said about 800 times on the broadcast. What the hell? Was wild. The offensive line was bad. The wide receivers were not great. No separation. They dropped some balls. I'm not defending DJ, who I've covered and frankly, who I want to do very, very well. Personally, I want him to succeed. However, Paige, they put in the true freshman in garbage time, Cade Klubnik, who people that got a huge ovation from the Clemson fans. And I know it's garbage time. The offense looked immediately better. This has a defined conclusion, does it not, of where we're heading with this? Like, to you?
I would bet by the time they get... I would think that DJ is going to probably struggle against Wake, and then they play, I think, NC State next.
Here, I've got your schedule. So you've got Furman.
Then
which, by the way, is going to be more garbage time for the backup QB, who's probably going to post big numbers, which, Michigan knows something about. Louisiana Tech, and then you've got at Wake and then NC State. So,
I would bet by NC State that it's an actual conversation before that game in terms of a starter. I know because they reiterated DJ's our guy. I know, he's not making some of the mistakes he made last year. So they've reiterated that on their end. But I would be interested to see if during that Wake game there isn't some sort of conversation, because I don't think that'll be any sort of garbage time for anybody. And it'll be a first test for really how good and how much has he adjusted to some of the mistakes he made last year.
Also, the offense not using Will Shipley more is kind of maddening. He's their best player. I thought he was great last year I think he had like 9 touches till late in the game. He should be touching the ball like regularly, like a lot more than he is. There's just some weird stuff. They have not. This is something that Twitter mentions a lot, but there's truth to it. They have not embraced the transfer portal. It's not Dabo's way to really dive into it.
They took like 0 players, right?
I think it shows. Like they are not explosive. Like they're just not. Defensively, they're great. By the way, defensively, that is going to be a massive problem. They are great. Offensively, they look like Iowa, except they scored 40 points versus like none. So maybe not that bad, but bad.
I'm glad you tried to make yourself feel better about that situation.
I did. It didn't work. But I do think ultimately the backup quarterback is going to happen. And speaking of backup quarterbacks, but I did not write this down. But Michigan, let's do a J.J. McCarthy, Cade McNamara watch. Boy, I think J.J. McCarthy is going to be the guy. Didn't start. McNamara looked off and was weird, and it just maybe this whole thing is getting to him, and I understand it. It's unorthodox. McCarthy comes in, is immediately successful, now gets to start against Hawaii, and they're a 50-point favorite. Yeah. Does it feel like McCarthy feels like the guy at this point?
Well, there's like a conspiracy theory on the internet that like Harbaugh chose him to go against Hawaii in order to like pad the stats and really make it look good for his start and make it so like he didn't actually have to make a decision. He just like compared the two and was like, all right, look, this guy's better, so we're going with that because that's who he wants to go with, but he's not cutthroat enough to actually make that call himself. There's nothing in the Bible to help out.
It's not like Colorado. Yeah, yes, it's not like Colorado State. It's not like they played Alabama. It's like and like you go here too.
But to be fair, Colorado State versus Hawaii.
I don't know. I can't remember what he made. I don't know if he knew Hawaii was going to be this bad when he made the call. But either way, that point spread, by the way, currently is
50.
Is it still 50?
I don't know, but
let's see. It is 51 and a half. That is a large number.
I mean, it's doable.
And then as we move through week 1, Brian Kelly.
Let's talk about LSU, Florida State. Let's just talk about it. First of all, egg on my face for that pick. Okay. There's just so much to take in here. First of all, excellent college football game for us.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Everything about it was college football-y. And it was like such a boring game until it wasn't. And I was like, all right, this is great. What do we want to digest first? Do we want to digest that like this is Buddy, this is bad?
Yes.
For LSU? Okay. Let's start with Buddy, this is bad.
Buddy, this is bad. You had the list of bad, or you had one of your best defensive players tear his ACL celebrating, right? So that's bad. You had Jaden Daniels look like he was just kind of running for his life the entire night because they just couldn't protect him, and he made some plays. That is like the Jaden Daniels collegiate experience was that game.
Actually, that's so accurate.
A fair amount of good.
No
protection, just running around, does some really good things. And then obviously special teams disaster. And you can't have that. So okay, so
and guys deleting stuff on social media after making it all this spectacle, like just atrocious. But
the best part, ... The press conference.
The press conference moment?
Yes,
you
go ahead.
The balls on this reporter. So in Brian Kelly's press conference this week, there was a reporter that was late, and he said, we usually have like a jar that we put stuff in the kitty for when people are late. And the reporter responded, well, if you win a game, I might not be late. At first I thought it was like a joke. Like I thought that this was like a prank that somebody was playing on him. That's hilarious. We talk about all the time about those like Monday pressers and how they're so boring and they're all coach speak. Like, way to shake that up. Maybe Brian Kelly is under the impression that no publicity is bad publicity based on his like fake Southern accent, the dancing with the recruit, and now this. Maybe he paid the reporter to do it. I don't know, but that was some good content. And Buddy, those are some cojones you have to say that to a coach.
Okay, so yes, I would never say that. Actually, I had to watch that through my hands. I'm never good at watching those videos. I'm like, I'm just like, oh no. He is not at Notre Dame anymore. Clearly, this is a school and a program that fires national championship coaches with great regularity. And so when you lose to Florida State on a blocked extra point, it's not going to go well. It doesn't matter if it's game 1 or game 10 or game 100. And so this may not go great.
Nope.
I think he's a really good coach, but the fit has
too.
just felt weird from the start.
Yes.
But they're not going to be immediately better.
The fit has been weird since the start, like you said. And it's not Notre Dame anymore. Like, he was living in sort of a bubble that was very, like, that brand is so different than LSU. Like, SEC football is such a different brand than what you're going to get at a Notre Dame, where you're an independent and, you know, you have all this history that you rest on, and, you know, the expectation is a little different. But I mean, props to this guy for really giving it to him, because he was roasting him, and in his
it's kind of a shithead comment, though. Like, okay, it's funny. Like, journalistic Twitter was debating this last night, so I'm sorry to turn this into like a serious Northwestern journalism student discussion. Brian Kelly's trying to make a joke, bad joke, like most of his jokes.
Yeah,
and it's like, I don't know. Do you really need to say that, man? Like, it is funny. And
no.
But like, I don't know. Like, I just could never do this. I would never do it to a coach. I would never do it to anybody.
Here's
like,
the other thing, though, that nobody would have ever done that to Coach O.
Well, Coach O probably would have like
kicked their
body slammed him.
Yes.
Yeah, like, yes.
So to the point of, like, we've talked about this before. Like, not everyone particularly cares for him, and I'm sure people that, you know, cover that team didn't necessarily want him to be their coach because of, you know, he's not one of them, kind of, and he's associated with another brand for so long that it kind of, I don't know, maybe there's some bad blood there. But yeah, no, it was definitely an unprofessional thing to do, and I would not recommend it. But now that Coach O is no longer a coach, he is able to say as much unprofessional things as he wants to say, and it to the benefit of us, because he was doing an interview and talked about the process of him being fired, and he said, when they sat him down and said, "Coach, we're gonna pay you you have 17.1 left on your contract, and we're gonna pay it to you," and he said, "What tour do you want me to leave out of, and at what time?" And that is probably one of the funniest things I've ever heard, because we talk about this all the time. There are a number of guys that are being paid not to coach at schools. But they're not proud of it, and they're not bragging about it. Coach O's like totally openly bragging about it, and it's amazing. But that's like, we're getting like the real Coach O. Like, even when he was at LSU, we still did get like some stuff that like other coaches definitely would not say publicly. But this is like the best version of Coach O, because I think it's just safer when he's not around a program and can say stuff like this and talk about his experiences, because it is hilarious that he is like bragging about being rich for not coaching that football team. And it's funnier because LSU is in such a shit place still.
Oh yeah, it's that buyout life. Like, that is the good life. Like, and he had a sweet deal. You don't have to like get another gig immediately. You could just take $17 million and go away. Yep. You won a national championship. He had his, you know, his crack at this thing in his home state and got it and did it with probably the greatest team of our lifetime, or one of, certainly non-debatable.
Yes.
So yeah, he's in a position now where he could say whatever the hell he wants, because if he's going to coach again, it'll be as a wise recruiter, and he'll make millions of dollars to do so, or for him, he'll probably just chill and do Coach O stuff.
Just do Coach O. You know what? Get paid for being Coach O. I think really that's what he should do. The hashtag influencer life, because he could make so much money. But one thing that's like semi-affiliated with this, not on the doc, semi-affiliated with this, but not really, is that I saw that, because Joe Burrow was at the Ohio State game and at the LSU game, and there was a thread about like, oh, I don't really care for Coach O, and a lot of people are for Joe Burrow, and I'm just here to say that that's not going to be a thing. So let's all let's not hate someone for being good. I just want to remind everyone that this is a pro Joe Burrow podcast. So just
it's a very pro. I have my fantasy football draft tonight. And yeah, I still do it. I won my league last year, just saying. And
me too.
I don't really follow fantasy all that intensely. I usually just draft young players that I've either written about or covered. So Jonathan Taylor last year, yes,
Najee.
That was helpful. Yep,
Someone took Najee the pick before me, and I was real pissed about that.
Yeah, I've got pick number 3, which I'm sure I'll screw up. Thinking Christian McCaffrey though, and I'm sure I'll get hurt. But still, I want to do that. So I'll give a full report on my fantasy draft. Very excited.
Love that because
yes,
people don't hear enough about everybody's fantasy team.
That's why I've even forgot. I'm the commissioner of our league, and there's been a lot going on. You can attest to this. It has been a very busy 2 weeks of writing and.
Buddy,
all
we're
sorts
tired.
Of stuff.
We are tired. We got to tell you this today. I was like, I woke up and I was in such a good mood because we were recording the podcast. But it's been like week 1 definitely like smacked me in the mouth, and I was like, all right, well, not just gambling wise, but like
no. The build up to week 1 is always pretty intense. So I am very, very tired, but excited too. All right. Speaking of, we can move on to week 1-ish things. Sam Hartman is back. That is not a week 1 thing. That is just an awesome thing. Blood clots turned out to be the situation. He had surgery. He got him removed. He only missed 1 game. You saw the point spread this week against Vandy jump up about, I believe, a touchdown. I love watching him play. This felt like it was going to be a longer-term injury when they announced it. I'm glad it's not.
We were crushed.
We were crushed. Like, he's one of the best players in college football. Like, he's one of the best college football players for a really fun team that's done some really fun things. So I'm just excited to watch him.
Me too. This is my official petition that he should be a guest on our podcast this year. I think he fits the mold of guy that would be no punts allowed worthy. So this is my official call to have Sam Hartman on our podcast. I feel like he would be an excellent guest.
I want to ask him about their little read option they do. When you watch it, it looks like he's handing the ball off every single time.
The best is that you're doing the
very
motion.
Miserable.
I love that you're doing the motion. If you do not watch this podcast on YouTube, you have got to do it.
I'm sorry.
You just miss little cues, and I can't.
But he follows it and dips, and it's like it would be so annoying as a defensive coordinator. Was it Army last year? He did it 400 times for 1,000 yards. If you want to see me sniff beer and do fake handoffs, please
YouTube. Watch on YouTube. But please, Sam, I hope you don't hear that part of it. Just we're normal. We're totally normal.
Yeah, that's not a great sell for his involvement. Yeah. Sniffing beer is very normal, and
keep it very professional. He's old enough to drink, so that's fine.
Yes. So okay.
Week 2.
We segue into week 2, and I want to talk about Steve Sarkisian. So my biggest takeaway, Sark sounds like a man that knows he's about to get absolutely shit-canned in a football game.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be careful. Shit-canned on a football field. Here's the quotes. It's one game, It's a chance for us to do what we love to do. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking this is going to be a game that's going to define our program. Quote 1. Quote 2. All along, my goal is to be in Dallas on December 3rd. This game has no impact on that. I want to play really well. I want to make sure that our guys play our style of football and our brand of football and do it the way I know we're capable of doing. Hard to read. So, that's not great. It's real talk. Right? It's real talk, but as someone, Saban on the other side, I don't have the quote, is I'm going to pretend like I don't know him. Like Terminator shit. Whatever, man. Sark was a good, but this don't matter. Let's play some football. So, Steve Sarkisian is limping into this game. Do you care? Does it matter?
Well, so we've talked about this. I originally was supposed to go to this game. My brother was going to law school there and deferred a year and decided not to. So I'm also very happy that I will not be present at this game because it's going to be 1,000 degrees. during the day.
Yes.
And you're right. It's going to be kind of a shitstorm for Texas. I feel like it's going to be a tough day. Like, the good news, though, the Texas fans, I'm sure, will be well hydrated, but you're going to need to be, because it's going to be quite the beatdown.
I got to admit, 11 a.m. games all the way. When we write about football games, that 11 a.m. slot is just wonderful. Like, on a completely selfish level. This is selfish. This is about me. All good teams. Everyone hates 11 a.m. And I'm like, everyone was complaining about this in the offseason. I was like, oh, thank God. We got a UFC pay-per-view at night, Paige. We got some fun West Coast games. Like, there should be some of these involved. So, yeah, it's going to be 1 billion degrees. And I do give Sark, like, Sark is right. Like, I'm going to, come back and say, like, he knows what's probably about to happen here. And if Texas makes this fun, then that would be awesome, by the way. Yeah. I would love to see Texas keep this competitive. But I think realistically, like, Texas should not be in this game. They are not a program right now equipped to handle Alabama. I think they actually could be. Like, I am very pro Sark and pro Texas, that if they keep recruiting like this, in a couple of years, like, you can have a conversation about this game. It just doesn't feel like right now.
Yeah, and I would say that I think because it's Texas, there's going to be a lot of overreaction. But again, it's like looking at Georgia and Oregon. Like, you have to understand that Oregon isn't in a place, obviously, to be playing with Georgia, who is a defending national champion. And Alabama is Alabama. Like, you cannot. Yeah, it's going to be tough. And yeah, historically, program-wise, it's really cool to have this matchup. But again, I think, to your point, it's going to take a few more years. And I do have faith that they'll get there, especially when you're... At some point, everybody gets tired, unless you're Vandy, I guess, getting kicked in the mouth in the SEC. And Texas has the resources to really make it a better thing and joining the SEC. So I think... I would say it's probably going to take a bit, but I do think there's going to be a step in the right direction. I don't think it's as terrible as it has been, or was for a year at least.
No. They're like, Texas. Look, Quinn Ewers is really talented. They've got some really good players. They got a lot of young kids across the offensive line, which is probably not great in this game.
Yes,
particularly not great.
I do want to say that Mrs. Sarkisian is definitely a winner. She has the best outfits for every game and has gone famous on the internet for her attire. So I did
not know this.
She wins the internet every week because she just kills it. She has the best fashion sense I've seen in college football. Well, outside of Miss Terry and her scarves, of course. But
it's kind of awkward Googling Steve Sarkisian wife.
Like, yeah, that is weird.
It's just like,
but her outfits are just 10 out of 10. She's a fashion icon.
Oh, she does have great yes.
Like, she has fun with it. It's like she's like dressing in theme for the like country theme, but she makes it like classy. I like it.
No, that is very good. No, by the way, so by the time you listen to this, there'll be a profile up of one Will Anderson that we worked on together, that we've been working on a long time. That was a great deal of fun to write. And if you want to hear more about, I think, the best football player in America and his family and just how freaking good he is, go to Bleacher Report, check it out. That is an absolutely shameless plug.
What's your favorite part of that story? Because I'll tell you mine.
I had a conversation with Will. I talked to him for about 35 minutes, and I did not expect, we've done interviews with, I don't know, literally dozens of Alabama players, profiles on probably more than 10 over the years. And I've never talked to someone who is more just connected with who they are. And I think he was surprised when I asked him, like, what do you like to do when you aren't playing football? Mm-hmm. Like, what do you do when you want to chill? And I've asked that question before, by the way. I love talking to college kids about what they do outside of like playing football. Normally it's, hey, I play video games, or like, I just love football. And he talked about, like, I love nature and I want to be near the water and I like to be in the lake and I like to fish. And like, that is so cool because I'm kind of like that. Like, I find my peace outside by myself listening to music. He talked about the music he listens to, just chill. So you see this dude on this field who is like a human wrecking ball, and then you see him like away, he's like the opposite person. I thought that was pretty neat. That was my favorite detail of that.
Yeah. I enjoyed the little anecdote you have about him coming to Alabama and Alex Leatherwood.
Yes.
And basically being told that he was going to fuck him up in practice. And he was like, oh, okay, I'm at Alabama. Like, this is why I came here. I thought that was great. And also I love the fact that like his sisters mean so much to him and are a huge part of why he's successful. So definitely check that out.
Oh, it's awesome. And also he's amazing to watch play football. Paige.
Well, yeah, that too. Hey, by the way, it's really good football player.
I am like Texas. This is where Texas, like you can't deal with someone like this. Like there's just nobody really deals with.
Did you see his quote?
This. No.
Oh, you didn't see it? Okay, so somebody asked him about playing Texas and he said he likes to like go out. He loves obviously going after quarterbacks. And he was like, but new guys, I really enjoy going after. And I was like, oh, poor buddy.
Oh, they're good
night. Good night.
It's
night.
So hard. And the rest of the Alabama defense looks really good too, by the way. I mean, kicking this shit out of 11-win team from a year ago, Utah State, who, clearly is not as good as they were. No, but it's impressive. Like, and look, I know you have a pick in this game, so we could save some of it. Let's talk Florida, Kentucky. Look, we didn't really talk Florida much. What a win. Mm-hmm. And now you have a situation, the Gators are a 6-point favorite in this game. You've got a young quarterback. I really like Billy Napier. I like listening to him talk. I believe that he's going to take this program to great places. Like when we look at this offseason with Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley, Napier was kind of a footnote. And the more you hear, just the more you're like, okay, like they really have a dude that can probably take them, like regain some of that program stature that they lost. So thoughts on this game as a whole? Like Kentucky's been a pain in the ass, and I mean that in the best possible way for SEC teams, including this one last year. So what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I think it's nice to see Anthony Richardson play well and them have Florida have a good quarterback. Like I feel like we've over the past couple of years just really had, especially like I know Florida fans like turned on their quarterbacks in the last couple of years and been kind of harsh on them. Like I'm happy for them, and overall, like I did not expect them to lose to Utah. I just did not expect them to lose or win against Utah. I didn't expect Utah to lose. That's a solid win, and then you're playing a good Kentucky team. Like, okay, maybe Florida, like still, they're definitely not gonna win the SEC, but okay, they could be relevant again and good. Also weird to see Dan Mullen on television talking about college football. It's just
he's pretty good though. He's pretty good.
He is, but it's just funny to watch when they go from you go from one extreme to the other, where it's like you're in it and you're enjoying it, and the press is funny, the press reaction to him is funny, and then for him to be on that side now is kind of humorous. I was impressed with Florida's performance. I really was.
I am curious. So we talk about Richardson, but obviously Will Levis got a ton of offseason hype. When you look at quarterbacks, had a really good first game against Miami, Ohio, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. But I'm curious what we get there with him. Like it's a fun game. Like this rivalry has gotten a little too close, I think, if you ask Florida fans over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a really fun game. I don't think I have a pick in this game for picks and pints. So do you have a lean? I kind of like Florida. I know it's kind of hangover city, but I still
spread on this game.
6 is the spread on this one.
I need to check.
Yeah, so 6 is the spread. Yeah, I kind of like Florida. I don't think this is the same Kentucky team as a year ago as well.
Yeah, I would safely bet Florida.
Let's move to another game. It's kind of a weird week. There's not the highest profile game has a 3 touchdown spread, but there's some really fun teach us who these teams are games below. Tennessee Pitt is another one of those games. Tennessee is a 6-point road favorite. And so I'm struggling with this game because the consensus when I'm talking to people, Paige, is that Tennessee is probably going to just obliterate Pitt. Not obliterate, but beat Pitt. So, and I kind of feel that way too.
I do too.
I'm struggling. Not a pick for me, but it's a game.
It's hard to have faith in Tennessee. I'm sorry. We've seen glimpses, but I think, and now obviously I can't bet against the SEC anymore. I've learned my lesson. Even the mid-tier teams and lower teams are still superior in other ways. But yeah, I'm gonna go with, I would say, Tennessee on this front. Where is it at? Is it at Pitt?
It's at Pitt, yeah. And Tennessee is 6-point favorite. Like, that's a fair amount of odds maker love and public love, obviously. But Hendon Hooker, he throws a beautiful football. Like, if they can run the ball like they did, again, it's Ball State, so you talk about overreaction city. but there's just a lot to like. And then with Pitt, like, the West Virginia game was kind of a mess. They shouldn't have won that game. I don't know what the takeaway is, other than I think Pitt lost two really key players, and I thought Slovis played okay. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what he does here. I don't know. I've been back and forth on this one, but I do think that there's a big orange wave of people ready to just pounce on Tennessee football being remotely good. And they might be. They actually could be a really tough out the way this offense looks like it's going to play.
Yeah. Hey, like I said, I'm not going to go against the SEC anymore. I've learned my lesson.
All right, what about
It's painful.
BYU Baylor? Now, this is the most interesting game this week. This is the most interesting game this week, in my opinion. I know Tennessee or Texas and USC is Jesus
Alabama.
Christ. I'm thinking about all the national
in terms of words. I mean, I can't. We're having a rough day today, but that's okay.
Okay, I'm thinking about all the national championships I've won, like some combination of these teams, right? So this is a football game that I'm really excited about.
BYU and Baylor, yes.
BYU and Baylor, because honestly, BYU was awfully impressive. That was the easiest cover page last week that I had. Mm-hmm. I laid 12 points against South Florida. South Florida's really bad, by the way. And then Baylor retooled, reimagined, a lot of new players. So I know you are the Baylor representative. I believe this is on our locks too. We'll keep the predictions limited. Mm-hmm. But this game's in Provo, which I want to just take a quick pause. Have you ever seen a game in Provo?
I have not been to a game there, no.
It is the coolest. It's, the whole no alcohol thing, and I don't really get along that well, but it is the coolest environment. Oh, yeah, no. I would not last there very long. But in terms of just general optics and presentation with the mountains in the backdrop, there's nothing like it in college football. Like, it is a must on the list to see.
Interesting. Yeah, the friends that I have in Utah are Utes, so it'd be pretty offensive. But I feel like seeing I don't think you can call it the Holy War anymore, but whatever.
Still the Red River Shootout.
Yeah, just whatever. Utah BYU would be a fun game to watch. Yes. I feel like going to why will we? It's just
why will we?
Why will we week? But I am, for the sake of this podcast, I'm going to get us back on track. Baylor and BYU, Baylor, baby. I'm living for Baylor. Okay. Waiting for Oklahoma State to see if I'm going to jump ship and take that, but Baylor, baby.
I want to quickly go through the slate of games. I love to do this where I just
spitball.
Ooze football.
I just called you shit. Like, what is happening?
It's fine.
I
don't
didn't
care.
drink
we're
anything
good.
before this
no,
podcast.
I did, but that's not the reason. Oregon State, Fresno State, 9:30 Central Time. Really good game. Really fun game.
What's the spread?
Pick 'em. Oh, it's a delightful. I'm going to be betting on that. That's actually a
delightful game.
Yes, that is a delightful game. This slate is not great.
No.
I want to watch Kansas versus West Virginia. I'm desperate when I want to see how much better Kansas is. The spread is less than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. Kansas
might not be total dog shit.
Really?
No, they might be okay.
You're still telling yourself that that's going to work out, but
Oh no, yes, I am bringing that one, like cheating that one home. App State versus A&M. I want to watch that football game because, okay, real quick, perfect segment into Picks and Pints, and here we go. By the way, this is a noon whistle. It's kind of like a White Sox version. The Gummy Iski. That's all they do is like Gummy Apocalypse, Gummy. It's really good IPAs. Noon Whistle, okay. If you're in Chicago area, please do that. So I got in early. My locks of the week on BR finished 7-2, which is like, there's not many weeks during the year that I finished 7-2. This is not even humble brags, just brags. But I appreciate it. My first 2 games were Purdue losing by a half point to Penn State horribly. And then I had App State plus 1.5. Paige, they go for the 2-point conversion. They miss it. They're down by 1. I'm watching this game with my dad, who I'm like, this is great. That is an ideal thing. Like, they missed it. Like, we're good. They return the fucking onside kick for a touchdown. Like, and there was nothing to say in that room. If you're ever around someone that loses a horrible bet, don't laugh. Don't point it out. Just let the silence, like I was smelling my beer, like, let that silence of a disappointing bet just take over and let it linger.
My brother did that for me this weekend because he knew. He was just like, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to upset her. I'm not going to continue on that. That game, though, that line moved more than I've seen a line move in terms of favorites and all of that leading up to the
injuries.
game.
Yeah,
that was a roller coaster of a line. So really, there were a ton of people sweating that out because some people got, I think it was App State plus 1.5, and some people got UNC.
It swung like 4.5 points. Yeah,
and so like there were so many bettors just sweating the end of that, and it was just the ugliest of ugly. And I was mad.
Except for the over, both teams hit the over.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Picks and Pints, week 2. You had a rough week. Yeah. On these picks were just okay because I had 2 of the losing picks. So I was above 500. You were below 500. You like that? That's like the marketing terms for it.
Thanks.
You want to start going? I don't like that we start going head to head on 2 games. Like, it's just immediate friction. But let's do it.
Let's start with those 2.
Stanford plus 8.5 versus USC for me. And you are on the other side. You are on USC minus 8.5.
Yes.
Versus Stanford. This point spread, when I look through, I start looking through Sunday night, Monday, surveying the scene. This line has just reached out, Paige, and grabbed me and pulled me forward. What, that? Feeling my nice municipal chest?
I love your description of this.
This is the Oregon game from last year reincarnated. Tanner McKee, someone I've profiled like 5 years ago, and he's still in college because he did his mission, and now at Stanford, he's pretty good, is going to be a problem for Lincoln Riley. This is not just plus 8.5 for me, Paige. I think they're going to win. I think Stanford's going to. I'm going to be sprinkling money line here on Stanford.
I can't believe you brought Lincoln up Riley. Oregon and Stanford from last year because you know that I won.
Oh yeah,
great money on that.
So I know that's why I'm surprised you're not.
I know, but because
the sprinkle side
because it's more because This is why I don't side with Oregon. You see what happens when I side with Oregon. Usually I'm against Oregon. That's really my thing. It's my shtick.
So, but no,
you're
on USC.
Yes, I'm on USC all the way. I think they're going to win the conference. I think they're going to be pretty dominant, and I do think they'll cover it by more than a touchdown. So
all right, so we are going head to head there, and we are going head to head here. You have Baylor +3 at BYU. I'm going the other side, but we already kind of broke the game down. But what do you like in this one with the Bears?
Well, what's interesting to me is like you brought up, it's at BYU, is what you said, right?
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure that's why the line is what it is. Not based on it's just based on environment. And I will say you were correct about the Florida environment being a factor for Utah, but I don't think that this environment is going to make that big of a difference for Baylor just because of, look who they're coached by. That's calm, cool, and collected. Namaste.
I don't like betting against him. Yeah.
So I personally feel like it'll be the Baylor Bears taking home the W.
Jaron Hall is becoming one of my favorite college football players to watch. The quarterback of BYU. Yeah. He runs around. It's Zach Wilson-y in a good way. He makes plays. Just a lot of fun to watch. They obviously had to replace a huge piece on offense at running back, and they did so by averaging 8 yards a carry. I think they're playing Baylor at the right time, but I will say I don't like betting against them at all. Okay, next up, what do you have? You have Oklahoma State -11 versus Paige rival, Arizona State.
Yep.
Interesting.
I'm taking you guys. I'm taking favorites, and I'm taking like lower spreads. Although this is a decently large spread, it's not 17 points like I took twice last week. Last year, jeez. So I feel like this is a relatively safe bet.
This line's a little weird. I love Oklahoma State. I think I've pumped them up.
You're on the Oklahoma State bandwagon. Don't make me question myself.
No, their defense was a little weird in the opener, and I'm not only have I pumped up Oklahoma State, I've like really think that Arizona State is going to be bad. So I'm kind of with you here. I'm just a little slightly like not even buyer beware. I just need to see it. That being said, I like Georgia State plus 7.5 versus North Carolina. This is Paige. You know I like contrarian picks. Georgia State last week against South Carolina was actually winning in the third quarter, and then they allowed 2 blocked punts for touchdowns. Georgia State is good. This is a no bullshit team. I know we're very high on North Carolina. They've got a quarterback. They just won a game in thrilling fashion. Georgia State, again, like I'm a sprinkle money line.
7.5 is a lot.
Georgia State was in that game. The special teams, like I don't want to just skip over that. Like you got to fix that stuff. But that's another really interesting point spread that really jumped out to me early on.
Yeah. I also like that I just said that I wasn't taking large point spreads, and then I look at the spreads that you went with, and then I just took Wake Forest minus 13 versus Vandy. But that's because Vandy is bad.
And the Sam Hartman bump,
right?
Yes,
and we are the Sam Hartman podcast, so
I have no problem with that. I think that's a really good play. I like Wake. Vandy is better though, right? Like Vandy does look better. Like I know the bar is pretty low.
Yeah.
Vandy is better, but I have no issues with that. All right.
We don't want to make zero overreaction. Come
on. No, that's true. Y is really bad.
Yeah.
I am going to take Iowa minus 3.5 versus Iowa State. Oh, yeah. Iowa has owned Iowa State since Matt Campbell has arrived. They've covered 5 of the last 6 times they've played. They've won when a punt hit one of the Iowa State players in the ass, like it literally hit off his ass, and Iowa recovered. This is the rivalry titled El Asico, college football Twitter.
You mean the Weibel.
This is Weibel. It's a bad game. Do not watch this game. The total in this game is 40.
Just check the score. 40. Just check the score every now and then.
But I like Iowa. We're shitting all over Iowa this week. The offense is bad. They're going to get healthy against Iowa State. Don't watch this football game. It's bad.
I will watch this football game. Another,
yes,
team that's going to get it bad is going to be Texas. So I'm taking Alabama minus 20 versus Texas because I think Saban's going to run up the score. He showed no mercy last week. I think there's no mercy at this point. Minus 20 is not a big spread for Alabama.
You know what I realized, Paige? And this has been a theme for Locks of the Week for like many years. I don't like betting on the biggest football games of the weekend. There's something about this game. Yeah,
because you don't like to. You're like, that's kind of everybody. You're like everybody's betting on that. I don't want to do that.
Well, and it used to be a problem. Like they'd be like, no, you got to pick don't pick Georgia State.
Well,
but it's kind of like it. There's something about because I do think Alabama's going to cover.
Yes. Do you know what it is? It's because people who don't actually watch a ton of college football bet those games. Because they think they know those are the safer bets for them because they know they're not going to pick Georgia State. Like they're not watching Georgia State play football and maybe don't know that they played a team close the week before. So I think that's maybe why is because you're trying to show that you're a true professional college football
It's
watcher.
Weird. I really enjoy looking at the board, but it's not even that. I should be able to pick on a big football game. And I feel like a lot of times I just I don't know. I'm going to back away. But I agree with you on this one. I think it's going to be a long day, long midday, very hot day for Texas. Last one, fun game. Texas Tech -3 versus Houston. Their starting quarterback is out. And they're still a 3-point favorite against a ranked Houston team. Donovan Smith, the backup, came in last week, played really well. Look, the offensive coordinator for Texas Tech, our guy, Bailey Zappi, he worked with him at Western Kentucky. I think Texas Tech may be ranked at some point this year. And I think it's going to start very soon. I like Texas Tech even with their backup QB. The fact that this point spread didn't move with the backup was like, yes, sign me up. So there we are. I feel pretty good about this week. Are you feeling better about this week?
I'm hopeful.
There you go. We're always hopeful.
See, I'm just trying not to get my heart crushed again. So if Alabama doesn't cover, I'm going to be really pissed. That's the one I'll probably be the most pissed about. So let's just hope that happens. If I win that one, it's fine. If not.
No, I agree with you. So to wrap up our random things, I watched the Monte Teo doc.
Oh.
Goddamn. Wow. That's a lot to take in.
Isn't it?
I don't know. Like, Monte Teo comes out of this, like, his honesty and his willingness to open up.
Yeah.
And just everybody's willingness to open up, actually. I don't even want to, like, everybody who was involved in this in whatever capacity, good, bad, or otherwise. It was compelling and kind of heartbreaking in so many reasons, truly. It's like, it's sad because it just leaves you kind of like, this happened. But I thought it was great, and I thought really he was phenomenal. So I thought it was I really, really liked it.
Yeah. I mean, it left me feeling like so bad and like a little guilty that all of us really didn't get this information when it happened, and that he spent years really and continues to deal with this. Random thing I do want to talk about is, so there's this new trend that people are discussing, and it kind of goes along with the Manti Te'o thing of like, what's your take on getting pictures with athletes and like making fun of them, like using it as like a shtick to make fun of them or their teammates? I just find it odd. Sucks. I think it's just a shitty thing to do. Like, I get we all can make jokes and have humor, but I feel like sometimes we take it a little too far. And I just feel so much more mindful about it now.
There's a lot of people out there. I've never been this way, by the way, and largely because we cover athletes. I've never rarely starstruck when I see somebody randomly. I've never asked for someone to take a picture.
Yeah.
Just because it's kind of our way of life, truly. No, that's not true. Daniel Falele, the Minnesota offensive lineman, because he was.
Oh yeah, because he's so big.
7 feet tall. That was the only time. Okay, but outside of that, here's why: it will prevent that athlete or whomever from wanting to take a picture with someone who will cherish that photo.
Yes.
Like there are, whether it's a kid or a whomever, doesn't even have to be a kid. You're seeing someone that you've hadn't thought about or enjoyed for some period of time. And if it's going to detract that athlete or celebrity from wanting to do that, or someone that could really use it, that would mean something to them, that sucks. Just don't do it. Come on. I know people don't care. The internet is the internet, but it's just lame.
It is. It's lame, and I feel like we should stop doing it.
I agree with you. It makes me sad. Don't do that. Don't be that person.
Don't be that person. Be nice.
I don't have much else other than I'm already tired, and I do want to promote also one more thing, our game day upset. So a reminder, we said this earlier. I want to make sure the instructions are clear on this because this is new. So we partner with Municipal. Here's what you have to do. We're going to tweet at this over the weekend. Game day upset is the hashtag. Very easy to spell. I don't even have to spell it out. I'd probably butcher it. Pick a team, an underdog, that you think is going to win outright, and give us a score, what the score is going to be. If that team wins, you could win free Municipal stuff. This thing, the shorts I'm wearing, so nice. I'm going to be wearing more of it. You should win it. It's very easy to do. It literally will take you 10 seconds. And by the way, Paige, I was already scouting the card this week with who I think I'm going to start doing this in previous weeks. Some Monday morning quarterbacking of who I would have picked for we can't win.
Yes.
But I'm going to have some ghost submissions of who would be my pick for this and tell you how they do.
Okay. I like that.
Stanford, nudge.
You can't give them away.
Well, I already said they were going to win. Georgia State, nudge again.
It's not
freebies.
Stanford. No Stanford.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I think we
got football.
We got technical difficulties, brains not functioning, saying the wrong names, and teams. I think you know what? You can tell that week 1 did us in, but we're ready for week 2.
I am so excited.
We'll be prepared
to watch these football games. All right, for Paige, I am Adam. We will talk to you guys next week.